It's a pleasure just coming onto the video on the YouTube and speaking to you guys because I feel I have a lot of light to offer. Today I actually came in with a couple of notes. Not many, but I did come in with some notes. I just finished a video on Twitch. I'm going to leave the link in the description below for that. And I'm going to also leave the link for my main YouTube channel in the description box, because I feel that if you also go to that channel, you're going to learn something. And if you go to that Twitch, you're going to learn something. For one, I want to give you the title. So today is going to be the Spartan of the South. I know a couple of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. Spartan of the South is the Chickasaw Nation. That's the last to be conquered, unconquerable. The true indigenous native being, which is me, which is my ancestors, which is my family, which are people who never gave up, who kept fighting, who were hunters and fighters. You know, this is my blood, this is my DNA. So today I'm coming in talking about that because I feel it's important to get this message to you, because a lot of it has already been, a lot of the conquering has already been done to a lot of us. A lot of us have already submitted to the system, and not even just the system, but to these people in these positions to try to force you and bully you into to submitting and conforming, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk about that. A lot of it's already been done, and you got to look back at history and see how it was done and how it's being done now, just in a different way. So the title of this is Spartan of the South, Never Giving Up, and the Importance of Not Being Conquered. So for one, I want to just touch on the Chickasaws. You know, I actually did some research today. I've done some research in the past. I've done some research in 2019 about them, about us, about me, about my people, about my ancestors, you know, because we were very tribal people. You know, we were all about the earth, all about agriculture, you know, so it ain't no surprise that I'm the same way. It ain't no surprise that I love the earth. It ain't no surprise that I love agriculture. It's no surprise that I want to go on those ventures and do those things. It's no surprise because it's in my DNA already. It's what I'm pretty much programmed to do through DNA. So I'm talking about those kinds of things. And I'm going to talk about how it's important to not be conquered, and also how it's important to not give up. So really, I'm not going to touch into everything because I still have my own research to do. But the main thing I want you guys to understand is that there's the five civilized tribes in the United States, and Chickasaw is one of them, along with the Choctaw, along with the Seminole, along with the Cherokee, and there's one more tribe, but maybe two more that I'm missing. I think one more. But just know that those are all the tribes that made agreements with the government to be the five civilized tribes in the United States. But I'm specifically talking about the Chickasaw. Now, the Chickasaw was actually a part of the Choctaw, but we divided from the Choctaw because we had our own beefs with not just the Choctaw, but we had our own beefs with other tribes as well. You know, we were definitely warlike. You know, we were definitely warlike, and we were definitely those kinds of people who, you know, we didn't fuck with just anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were gatherers and hunters and fighters and things like that. So we just didn't fuck with anything, even some of our own tribes. We didn't even fuck with them. And sorry, excuse me, I should have made this video first, because I just made a video on Twitch and my voice is kind of fading out a little bit because it's a consistent flow. So my apologies in advance for that. But for the Chickasaw, we were originally with Choctaw, but we divided with the Choctaw and became our own tribe, Chickasaw. If I'm spitting from now and then, just try to disregard all that. But I do hope that you stick with me, right? So let me sit down. Let me sit down, man. Let me sit down real quick. Let me sit down. That's a little better. So, as I was saying, right, they called us the Spartans of the South because, for one, we were the last to be conquered. They say that we were unconquerable. It was tough for them to try to conquer Chickasaw Nation, Chickasaw people, and those indigenous people. It was tough. And as I was doing my research, and I have a lot more research to do, as I was doing this research, I came across that, we played a huge part in the victory uh, of Britain over the French. We were a major part of the success and victory in conquering of the French because we helped the Brits. We helped Britain. This was something I could have sworn I did my research on in 2019, but I came across it and was like, I don't remember coming across that. And what did we conquer? What did we help them conquer? We helped them conquer North America, because of our warlike mindsets, because of our tactics and strategies, um, because of our ability to hunt and gather, because of our ability to fight and be the best at it. Spartans of the South. That's what they said. That's what they called us. Because we were most of the time outnumbered. I'm talking about 1-5 and still prevailed. So there was tribes that didn't even fuck with us because they already knew what's up. There was tribes, I'm not gonna say names because I don't want those tribes to think I'm trying to bash you or come against you. But there were tribes that I read about that didn't even fuck with us because of how we was when it came to fighting and warring and being like that. They said, nah, we're not even gonna fuck with them because they really about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So what Britain did was use that. They used that in the war with the French back in 18. I forget. I need to come back to it. I need to do better research for you. I need to be more precise. But I just want to give you just an overview of all of this, and I'm gonna give you the microcosmic and the macro in a minute. But I want to just kind of go over just see that beat that just came through. See how I wasn't doing all that. I just let it do its thing. It felt me. It feels me. Magnetism. Um, but I'm just giving you the overview of Chickasaw because I want you to understand how important it is of a piece. See that again, of a piece that we was to the chessboard in the victory over French, and how when this victory came about, the conquering and the settlements of all of North America was given to the Brits. So Chickasaw people originally came from Mississippi. We settled there. You got Memphis, you got Arkansas, you got Alabama. You have those regions. You have I think it was Tennessee. I said Memphis. You had those regions that we originated from. Like we were the first there. Like nobody else but us. We were there. My people, my ancestors. And if you're Chickasaw, your people, your ancestors. We were the first there. And then you had European settlers come. You had forget his name, DeSoto, the first European to have an interaction with the tribe. He came about. Britain came about. Uh, Things happened such as negotiations and the Confederacy. Things of that nature all happened, and then also you just have to understand that when this all was happening, you had slaves. You had African slaves coming over to the States, being enslaved to help the Confederacy out. And damn, this is where I should have. My bad, y'all. See, I might even have to make this video over, but I'm gonna still share it anyway because these are important. I don't want to just be speaking on stuff and not have precise information about it. But I really encourage you to do your research. What had happened was the Confederacy had a lot of enslaved Africans who fought for them. and they brought them over to the States. They brought them over to those southern states, those southern regions that I just named. And what happened with the Chickasaw was that the Chickasaw sided with Britain to help them defeat the French to conquer North America. So when you look at the whole scope of everything, you had enslaved Africans and original Chickasaw going to work for the Confederacy and Britons. And in the end, this is when Abraham Lincoln was president, those slaves, I'm talking about that time. And around the Chickasaw time, this was around the Indian Removal Act. I'm talking, and this is after we had helped them and conquer and defeat the French, all that. This is after that. So pretty much what I'm saying is the success of the people we think are in power today came from us. It came from us. The reason why you see a lot of people in these high positions and powerful positions is because of us. We helped them. Just like the Moors. The Moors helped enslave their own people to, I think it was Europeans as well. Yeah, I believe so. Quote me if I'm wrong. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of this oppression that we are facing today as enslaved Africans and, uh, you know, indigenous native people came from our own self because our ancestors chose to help fight in these wars. Some of us were forced to, like I said, and the enslaved Africans, they were forced to do that with the Confederacy. With my tribe, with my ancestors, we chose to help, but that cost us in the end because we lost half our land. You had the Trail of Tears, you had the Indian Removal Act, and now from Mississippi, our woodlands, our origin, we were forced out of Mississippi into Oklahoma. So at the end of the day, we gave up a lot. We gave up a lot, and it came through force too. It came through force. It came through pillaging. It came through raping our people. It came through mixing their blood with our blood, mixing their DNA with our DNA. It came through a lot of that. And I'm gonna double back on the part 2 of this video because I feel like I'm not giving you guys real gems right now. And that's an apology on my end. And I very rarely apologize when I make videos. But I'm gonna do that on my end. I'm gonna come back with a part 2 of this because this is stuff I gotta sit down and write. This morning I was just sitting there with myself writing a couple of things down right here. I am gonna touch on some things now. I'm gonna touch on a couple of things. Don't think I'm not. And I'm gonna get you guys to understand if you are Chickasaw, who you are more, and then also the world, just to get you to understand more. But I'm gonna come back with some major facts. You could do the research yourself as well. But I'm gonna come back with some major facts, and I'm gonna really give y'all a really good part 2 of this video. So this is just part 1 right here. Some light work just to kind of warm you up. But I take pride in doing it the first time. I take pride in doing it the first time. But that's on me. I got to put in more work in doing my research. I was kind of, look, I wanted to get to nature. So I do say my bad on that. But anyway, that's just a part of it. That's just one compartment of the totality, because all this was compartmentalized. Just like they try to do our mind, they try to compartmentalize our brain, divide this, divide. So the whole thing is dividing. The whole brain's dividing. You just you don't know what to think, what to do. That's just one compartment of the whole thing, right? You got two sides because a lot of black people think they're African and they're not. A lot of black people in America are not African. A lot of you are indigenous to the land. And then you had Africans coming over from Africa who were forced to be enslaved here, who helped Confederacy. They call them the CSA. Should have wrote that down too. Damn, whatever. Do the research. help them fight in these wars along with our help, and uh that got North America, the USA. A lot of these parts in the world that you're in were conquered due to the work of us. The oppression actually came because of us, because we decided to help when we didn't have to, when we shouldn't have. But anyway, I want to get back on the Chickasaw, because I want this to make more sense to people, right? Because right now it's just another version of this going on in a different way, especially personally speaking for myself. So just how the Indian Removal Act came along and people were forced out. I'm talking about my ancestors dying in that cold ass trail of tears, no shoes, barely clothes and food, walking in snow. You got people dying out there just left and right, dropping because they were forced out. Forced out. Just like gentrification. They were forced out to Oklahoma. Now you got a lot of the Chickasaw in Ada, Oklahoma. ADA, Oklahoma. That's a lot. That's where a lot of us reside now. And I was really sitting on this and like, I'm kind of going through the same thing. I'm kind of going through the same thing, and it's so fucking subliminal. It's so indirect, and it's so disgusting. And it goes to show my true nature, my true blood, my true DNA, because I am unconquerable. I don't give up. I don't submit. I don't conform. It's in the DNA. And what I'm trying to get you to see is that back then history is pretty much going on back now, because a lot of us have already submitted and conformed to things that don't serve us. It only filled the hunger pain. It fulfilled that for you. But long term, down the line for your children and stuff, like for your DNA and stuff, like you sold out. But I don't blame you, because you didn't know who you were. Only if you knew who you were, you wouldn't have made that decision to sell out. But you were indoctrinated. They had to create a system to make sure you weren't going to get to that information. So because they made a system that didn't allow you to get to that information about who you were, the identity that you have isn't even your own identity. And because the identity that you have isn't your own identity, you subscribe to something that is completely not even you. And because you did that, it cost you your DNA. It cost you your bloodline. It cost you your true name, your true self. And I don't blame you. Now, if you knew this and you still decided to subscribe to what they was talking about, because they continue to force it on you, they continue to try to bully you, and you was like, man, you know what? Okay, cool. What y'all talking about? What I gotta do? What I gotta sign up for? You know, if you did that, then like I said, I don't blame you, because you don't know who you were. But if you knew who you were and you did that, I have no respect for you. And the reason why I said that, for me, what's going on now in my life is so indirect and subliminal and disgusting, is because it's pretty much what happened back in the day to my people. So they're trying to simulate um they're trying to simulate the same thing that happened to my ancestors to me, just in a different way, in a different form. And who are they? I mean, it's happening to everyone. The system, those in power, those in positions in power, to try to get you to conform and submit and subscribe to something that is not you. To get you to subscribe and submit and conform to something that is only going to make you divide more and more and conflict internally and externally. And just like they were forced out, just like my people were forced out, they were forced out and got half the land taken, wasn't compensated for that. It's a lot of fuckery. Raped and shit, pillaged against. It's almost like I look at it today when it comes to my own life. It's like the same shit. It's like the same shit, but in a different way. Like, this thing is trying to bully me into subscribing to something that I'm never going to subscribe to. It's trying to force me into something that I'm not going to be forced into. So they're saying, let's try this with him as we did with his ancestors. Let's try this with him as we did with his ancestors. And I bet he gonna fold. Well, sorry to break it to you. Just as a seed is programmed to go in the dirt and germinate and sprout and receive the light from the sun, I'm programmed to not give up. I'm programmed to not submit. I'm programmed to not be conquered. See, the thing is with my people, with our people, if you Chickasaw, if you indigenous, native, coming from Chickasaw, we was pretty much the toughest fucking tribe. I'm not taking pride in that. I'm just saying, like, we had thick skin. We didn't fuck around. We were hunters and fighters. I'm gonna read this right here because this is something I wrote down, and this is something I want folks to know because this is something I got off the internet from doing my research. And I want folks to understand why I have this beautiful light to me, but I also can have this beautiful darkness to me as well. It's within the DNA. It's within the blood. It's natural to me. You know what I'm saying? We all have it. You just have to do your own research on who it is that you really are. So this is something that I got from, I think it was an article, a website. I'm smacking a little bit. I need to drink some water. And I just did a lecture, almost an hour on Twitch. This is why I have light and dark within me. This is why sometimes I'm cool, I'm chill, I'm all about peace and balance and diplomacy, whatever. But then another side of me could be just as dark, where I'm like, fuck this, I'll beat your fucking ass, I'll slam shit, I'll fuck shit up, I'll have a war mentality, right? This is why I'm glad that when I was 18, I didn't join the military, because my people was already like this anyway. What the fuck I need to join the military before I can create one? So, early Chickasaw leaders, this is a symbolism. These are the colors we used to symbolize who we were, Chickasaw. Early Chickasaw leaders used the colors of red and white to symbolize two important facets of tribal life. White represented peace, diplomacy, and order, while red stood for danger, blood, and warfare. The early Chickasaws knew they needed a balance of both to exist successfully. Mic drop. I want that to just sit with folks for a minute. Even folks in the space right now. Nature already knows what's up. I ain't got to tell nature nothing. Nature been feeling these vibrations since. I want that to sit with folks because that's exactly who I am. I'm not bipolar. I'm not crazy. You hear the bird? He started laughing. Oh my gosh. Y'all, man. Oh my gosh, you gotta like nature is so beautiful. Thank you, nature. I know nature. See, I already know nature on point. Man, that was a beautiful moment right there. Thank you, Birdie. I appreciate you. I'm not bipolar. I'm not crazy. I'm not mad. I'm not hot, then cold. I'm programmed that way. My DNA is like that. My blood is like that. That's who I am. That's the indigenous me to this land here. That's who I am. That's who my people were. That's who my ancestors were already. We didn't need somebody to come and tell us that. We was already in flow. We was already in synchronicity. We already knew who we was. So when I say that, the red and white, one representing peace, one representing blood and danger and warfare, don't get it twisted. On when I can speak some spiritual shit to you, I can spit some light to you, I can spit some beautiful shit to you, and then also on the flip side of that, I could be just as warlike, I could be just as dangerous, I could be just as whatever. The yin and the yang, right? I be talking about it all the time. The light and the dark. We all have it. But I don't want to get too deep into just myself personally. I wanted to talk about this because, like I said, I'm going to come back with a part two, but also the same shit that happened then to my people is happening to me, not only me, but the people today who are like me. We're being forced out. We've already been forced, gentrified and shit in our own uh, pieces that we call home and shit. A lot of us have been gentrified already out. We already been pushed out. Not just that, but now they're trying to conquer you. People are trying to conquer you and me, the mind, the body, and the soul. And they're using the same methods in different ways that they used against our ancestors. Just in different ways, though. You got to be able to see it. And to me, like, the folks who are trying to do it, y'all should already fucking know. Y'all done researched and did all that shit already. Y'all should already know that this one here is unconquerable. He really is a Spartan of the South. He doesn't give up. He's not going to fold. Folks should already know that. No matter how much power and whatever you want to call it, whatever power you think you are or have, whatever force you think you are or have, it's false. It came from the backs of my ancestors. It came from the backs of enslaved Africans. If it wasn't for us doing that, helping, we would be in power. We would be in those positions. So don't think you could fool a person like me or any of those out there like me who have this kind of mindset, because we see through all the bullshit, and we will always see through all the bullshit into our last days. Oh, I'm sweating. I'm feeling something like slip down me, drip down me. It's sweat. So again, like, I'm coming back with a part two. I'm about to end this video. I want to end with this too, because this is what our religion was. This is why I'm so in love with just the sun. I am a sun when it comes to numerology. I guess I'm the number one. I'm a number one. My life path is a one, and that's the sun. The planet is the sun. So my ancestors worshiped the sun. We worshiped fire. If we had a campfire and we was done with the campfire, like everybody left, no one, it was so sacred to us, fire, and that's my sign. I'm a fire sign. So everything about me is fire and sun. I'm fiery. I'm fiery. I'm flames. Everything about me is light. I spark shit. Initiator, pioneer, creator. So my ancestors, if there was a campfire and we were done with this campfire, no one would touch the campfire after that. We would let that fire go out on its own. We didn't get water and come dump the water on it. No, you let the fire go out. It was sacred, and it still is. It still is sacred. So I want to read our religion. This is what our religion was as well. They say that the Chickasaw worshipped a deity called Abba Benili, a god who represented the sun, clouds, and sky. They believed that this deity was the ultimate spiritual power because the sun was needed to create and sustain life. Now, I just made a lecture yesterday about them trying to create a fake sun and getting rid of nature. What did I just read? What did I just read to you? They trying to take away sustain life. They're trying to take away creation because it's organic. They're trying to take that away. It's a whole agenda behind it. Why do you think though? Go back to that video I just made. I just made a video on this channel actually. Go to that video. Apply what I just said to what that video had. I got in that video, and it's gonna make a whole lot of sense to you. But that was our religion, and and as I've been saying, my religion is nature. Before even coming across this knowledge, I've been saying my religion is nature. I pledge to nature. That's it. I subscribe to nature.